Hi and welcome to another episode of
Stop!
I Want to Get Off.
Stop!
I want to get off!
And welcome to another mukbang. There won't be a recipe for this one because it's fairly simple. So what we're having today, I've steamed some lovely greens to get the greens into us. Put a little bit of tamari on there and addition of some sweet chili sauce. And we've got a beautiful brown rice with a full bean mix. And on top of that, I've actually sprinkled some hemp seeds. So that's what we're eating today. And please feel free to grab something and sit down and eat with us.
So on this episode here, we're going to cover a few topics. We're going to talk about the vegan people being blamed for feeding a child incorrectly and the child dying. We're going to talk about the disgusting habits of some YouTubers. We're also going to talk about an eating show, and also I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, about some of the exercise I'm trying to do and where I'm at the moment with my health.
Yeah, so we're basically just having a chat with you today. We're sitting down, eating our dinner. It's been a very long work day for Dave today. He's done over 12 hours. And so we're just sitting down to what's basically breakfast, lunch and dinner. But we will be having a bit more later on after this. So, what's it like?
Beautiful.
A great way to get your greens is just lightly steam them. And I said add a little bit of tamari and some sweet chili sauce. It's just to die for. I've actually started taking this to work with me. I make it in the morning, put it in the lunchbox, take it and have it for lunch, and I just adore it.
The main topic here is we don't want to go into it too much, but what's happening at the moment is that the meat industry and the dairy industry are now starting to get a little bit nervous because the vegan movement is starting to take people away from them.
Yeah, it's growing.
it's growing exponentially because a lot of people now are starting to wake up to the fact that we have only got one planet, and at the moment with the amount of dairy and meat industries starting to strip the planet dry, and people are starting to realise that we've got to kind of stop what we're doing or we're going to leave nothing. So what's happening is that they're using
just simple
scaremongering,
simple little stupid things.
Yeah, they're trying to scare people and then blaming veganism as a problem. The first one Anne can talk about is talking about a child that died, and they're blaming the parents because they're vegan.
That's all right. There was a news, not a news article, but there was a magazine article about them killing their 8-month-old child by putting it on a vegan diet. Now most diets, and no matter how bad they are, take quite a long time to manifest in your body and to create a problem. But they jump on this headline like vegan, it was on a vegan diet, that's why it's died. And if you go watch a video made by that vegan couple, you can sort of see the full story.
Links below.
But what really gets me is like, you go to someone and say, okay, I've decided to do a vegan diet. And the first things out of their mouth, oh, well, make sure you get your correct nutrients and make sure you get this,
protein,
you get that.
You get all that stuff.
Yeah, and look at what you're eating so that you're not missing out on anything. Yet, if somebody goes to, say, McDonald's and has breakfast, lunch and dinner, and what's called the normal standard diet, no one ever says to them, but are you getting your right macronutrients? Are you getting this? Are you getting that? You should really watch what you're getting. But it's never mentioned to people like that. And just because you say you're vegan, people jump on it and say, oh, but you need to do this and you've got to watch this. Yet people go around in their lives normally with their blinkers on, just eating what they feel like.
It's just a headliner, and it happens a lot nowadays where they're trying to use veganism or trying to put veganism down. The simple part is because we're taking away from the meat and dairy industry.
That's right.
That's the reason why. The thing is, all we're asking you to do is if you see these headlines, please take the time to actually read the information. And actually also, when they go along and they talk about a study, I like the study. This and this and this is the reason why you should eat meat. But what you've got to do is, and when you do that, you've got to look down at who actually paid for this test or this study. And 9 times out of 10, it's got to do with the meat industry. Have a closer look at the information. We read the article and it's just, they use this line and it has no proof or no anything in there. It's just, you know, like it's an old saying is, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. And that's how newspapers, news headlines and all that sort of stuff is used, because they want you to consume their information. So you've got to be careful on the information you're fed.
Yeah, it's like if someone's child dies because they shake the child. The headline isn't "Man eats McDonald's hamburger and shakes child. It must be McDonald's fault." Or it must be his diet. They don't do things like that. It's only if the word vegan comes into it. And another issue I'd like to bring up is it takes us and it takes like our people in the field, that vegan couple and a lot of vegan channels, a lot of hard work to try and get views. And as you can tell by our channel, we're not getting that many at the moment, but we're still sticking to it because we've got a message to bring to the world. And yet, it's like the people of the planet have got these blinkers on, you know, and all they want to do is indulge in themselves and get entertained and get fed and watered and not really care about the planet. And we need to change this view. Now, I was looking at a video from a guy that teaches you how to set up your YouTube channel. And he was showing you how to do it on a budget. And he showed the budget behind the studio for Chickypie, I think she's called. And I think she's a lady from Thailand who all of a sudden has got 1 million views. Now, I had a look at her channel and my goodness, you know, why do people watch these things? Why are people so engrossed in this type of thing, and yet good information about your health, your planet, your families is just basically ignored? Now, on the episode that I saw, she goes out and gets a lot of food and does a challenge. So she got KFC.
Huge.
Like for about 5 to 10 people. And she sat there and ate it all. Now, no one says, oh my goodness, she's on her way to heart disease.
All the calories and the horrible, disgusting fatty shit.
She's on her way to diabetes. She's going to be obese. No one says to her, oh, you're getting your right macronutrients, because she's not on a vegan diet. She can have all the KFC she wants. Who cares? You know, it's entertainment, it's funny. Let's watch her. So,
and the fact is that it is scientifically proven that this type of food causes heart disease.
Yeah.
It's a fact, but not one person talks about that. They pick on the vegan that's trying to do the right thing by the planet and the people, and the animals, don't get me wrong, and the animals. And they pick on us. But this person sitting down there,
gorging herself, and you get millions of people watching her. Come on, people, wake up. Watch something that's more beneficial to your health. That's something that's going to educate you. And stop being brought in by all these media hyped consumerism type shows that is doing nothing for you. Nothing at all. And that just really peeves me, you know. Sorry to go on about it, but you know, some of the things that people watch on YouTube is just ridiculous. And I don't know how these people do it. Maybe we have to be ridiculous to get some views, but that's not what we're here for.
We want to kind of hope that we can help people in our shoes that just want to stop and get off. We've had enough. So between veganism and wanting a better life for ourselves and not work ourselves into the ground, hopefully this channel can help people.
The other thing I'd like to bring up too is the misinformation too. The media has gone into a lot of effort now to have people scared of sugar, right? They're blaming sugar for everything so that people can still eat their high saturated fat meals, you know. It's sugar that's the problem. And I was watching the show, you've probably seen it on YouTube, And it's a show where they have a skinny person and an overweight person or an obese person, and they live together and show each other what they eat and stuff like this. Now on this particular episode, which I'll show you a clip for in a minute, they show what this lady eats in a day, the obese lady, and she loves meat. She's always had meat, so you'll see her plate, she might have chops, a steak, some sausages, maybe an egg, and she says she loves meat. So they have this pipe, and they pour down this pipe all the food that they eat in a day, and this piled up with all this steak and meat and chops and stuff like that. Then at the top, you had a little trickle of some maybe sandwiches and some cakes and stuff like that. And I put a comment on that video and I said, see, it's the meat. It's a saturated fat that's hurting everybody and giving them these diseases. And this silly man came along to my comment and said, look at those cakes and sandwiches at the end. It's the carbs. Now, that statement is so ridiculous if you stop and think about it. Okay, so she had some sandwiches. Now, a person that's obese, would she just have the whole wheat bread, or would she maybe put butter on the bread, put some cheese on the bread, put some ham on the bread? I think maybe she would, you know. And then cakes. Now, the last I knew with a cake, most people put eggs into the cake, they put milk into the cake, and they put butter into the cake. So how can you say the flour is making you fat? It's the things that go together to make these foods that are the problem. Mm-hmm. So I'll show you a clip of what she eats, and if you can look me in the eye and say it's the carbs, she's having too much sugar, then God help you, really.
It's an awful lot of food. Do you ever have a vegetable?
No!
It's just ridiculous. So don't be frightened of, when I talk about sugar, I talk about fruit. I talk about things like
natural.
Yeah,
we're talking natural stuff.
Agave, maple syrup, things like that. I don't talk about having piles and piles of white refined sugar. You shouldn't have piles of white refined anything. But don't be afraid of nature's sugars, because that's your glucose, that's your life, and that's what your brain needs.
And that's what all your animals live on.
So if you base your diet around whole foods and fruits, vegetables, and nuts, grains and seeds, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Now, on another note, my lovely just had her birthday, and if I'm allowed to, she's just turned the big 6-0. And we flew down to Brisbane to get the family together to spend time with Anne and all that sort of stuff, because we're basically, as you know, packing up and we're out of here, so we'll probably see him one more time before we go. But the thing that blew us out is that Anne told me, she went down a couple of days before me because I couldn't get time off work, so I flew down on a Friday, she flew down on Tuesday or Wednesday. And she can tell you the story about her mother, and I think it was your sister, and about veganism. Take it away, my love. It's like they all gang up on you. No, it started innocently enough. We were all having a cup of tea, and I said, please don't put any milk in my tea. And because they don't have soy milk or anything like that, I said, I'll just have it black. And of course my mother jumps off her chair, and my mother, by the way, has been ill for a very long time, and chronic arthritis. She's not a vegan, and she doesn't believe in what I do. And she said to me, oh, why can't you just be normal, like normal people, and eat normal things? And I looked at her, I says, I'm normal, mother, you know, maybe the people around me might not be as normal as I am. And then she said, it's something you've read in a book. I know you think you know all these things, Anne, but you've read it in a book and you believe it, but it's not right. And I said, no, Mum, I've done a lot of research for many, many years, and I do know what
encyclopedia.
I do know what I'm talking about. No, you read it in a book, she said. And then not half an hour later, she decided to make some chips and to deep fry them. So she brought out a big container of canola oil. Sorry, I nearly forgot the name then. And innocently enough, I just said, Mum, do you realise that canola oil is not really that good for you? And then she came back to me with, oh, but there's 2 chefs on the TV
Not one, two.
that said canola oil is the best of cooking and the best for you to have at your meals. So, and then I thought about that. I thought, well,
Anne read in a book, but 2 chefs on TV.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my feelings were, so your point of reference was 2 chefs on a TV. My point of reference is a book. So what information I know of is ridiculous and it's not true. But because 2 chefs on the TV told her about the oil,
they wouldn't be paid.
then yeah, that's the gospel. So, but the thing is with that is, like my mother's 80, going on for 81 now. You can't change people at that stage of their life. They've done it all their life. That's what they know, and especially when you're very, very ill, you don't want to be bothered to change, which is a shame, you know, because if she cut out all the dairy, quality of life might be a little bit better, but can't tell them. And then of course when she jumps at me, everybody in the family have got to have a go at you, you know, because
they all jump in thinking we're weirdos. The sad part is that they don't understand we're doing this for everyone.
Yeah.
We're not being like some selfish whack job. We actually give a shit about humankind, animals, the planet, the whole thing. That's why we're vegan. We don't do this just to upset the boat. We do this because we give a shit. We keep saying this all the time, but people just... there was, I can't remember what video, there was something we saw and someone told us that when it comes to, there's a lot of topics you can talk about, but when it comes to food, it becomes personal. And you've got to be so careful when you're explaining to people about diets and how they eat and all that, because it's the one topic that they will defend to the end of the earth to, I don't know, it might be to give them an excuse to eat something that they know they shouldn't really eat. I'm not too sure how it works. You know what people will do? They'll get put in a corner and they will defend themselves to the max because they don't want to give up what they're doing, but they know that it's wrong. There's not too many people anymore on this planet that can sit there and say that they're ignorant to what the meat and dairy industry is doing. There's just way too much information out there. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but 2 chefs on a paid TV, excuse me, like, I mean, that's rigged shit for a start. All you got to do is look at the scientific information about this sort of stuff, and you know damn well that anybody on television's paid off anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, what's his name, Jamie Oliver. I mean, he started out really great, and he's just gone...
Yeah, now he's on the side of the dairy industry.
He's on the dairy
Although
industry.
He does say on one clip that the vegan lifestyle is the way to go. And then he contradicts himself by going back into dairy and meat. But anyway.
So there you go. And you know, and then you had that guy that did The Biggest Loser in America, fit as heck, and ended up with a heart attack. Why? Because he was a vegan, gave it up, and went back to eating meat. So it doesn't, it's just, you've got to actually stop for yourself and actually look at these things, not just go with what some clown on paid, especially paid television. There's a lot of YouTubers there. If you look across enough information, there's enough doctors out there with facts that can tell you what you should eat and shouldn't eat. And we're not plucking this out of thin air. These are professional doctors that tell you what you should and shouldn't eat.
So check out Dr. Gregor on nutritionalfacts.org. Yep. Check out Dr. McDougall. Check out Dr. Esselstein and the guy that did the China study.
All these are professional doctors, and these guys have spent 30 and 40 years studying this stuff.
Yeah.
And these guys, a lot of it, especially the Edison and McDougall, these guys are, crikey, way into their 80s now. And they
70s
look
or 80s.
fit.
Okay, so on a lighter note, we'll finish off with maybe you letting people know what you're up to now, to help heal not just your to help heal your physical body, but to help heal you mentally and emotionally as well.
Yes. Okay. Of late, I've finally gone to a neurologist. Sent me for an electric shock treatment, which was interesting. They like to use a cattle prod to check all your nerves and everything. And now I've just recently had an MRI, and they did an X-ray of this part of the neck and then the bottom of my spine. And that's where they're at. I don't find out till next month when I go and see the doctor again. But recently there was a book that Anne and I read ages ago, and it was by the medical medium.
Excellent book.
We'll put the link down below.
I will link
She'll link a link.
I'll link a link.
She'll link a link below. She'll link the book below.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a look at. And the funny part is we read that probably well over 12 months ago. And Anne just went through it the other day, and she sat down only 2 days ago and read out, and the disease that they talk about is Lyme's disease. Now, this is where once again the general medical profession haven't got their facts correct. So reading through this, it looks like that I have a viral disease. It's something that I could have contracted 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it'll sit dormant forever and a day. And what it does is when you're either stressed, tired, sick, had antibiotics, a combination of stuff, it then attacks the nervous system. Now, the biggest question that none of the doctors can explain to me is they kept talking about the base of my spine. That's why my leg doesn't work. The difference is I get twitches. I have muscle twitches everywhere. I get my fingers bend in. They do all sorts of strange stuff. I get cramps everywhere, not just at the base of the spine. And it seems that when we read the article about it, it talks about, they call it the classification of Lyme's disease, but it's in other viruses. What could be?
Yeah, no, what doctors, they look at it as if it's an infection. And they treat it with antibiotics when it's actually viral. But the doctors are only going off what they're taught and what they know at this point in time. But it's actually opposite to what they think it is.
Yeah.
And if you look at the medical medium and read his book, you'll understand why. Because he's getting the answers from what he calls spirit. So if also with what Dave's talking about is if you have any traumatic events in your life emotionally as well, that can trigger off a dormant virus in your system. And we're thinking now that this virus is now attacking his nervous system, and what it does, it inflames the nerves. So that's why he's having problems with the walking and the twitching and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at putting Dave on a protocol to heal his body, and when I do finally leave work, which is in about 5 weeks' time, then I can do that full time and put all my effort into it. So we'll take you on that journey as well. But in the meantime, in the healing, what Dave's doing is he's doing like a yoga challenge.
Yeah, so basically I'm trying to get myself fit. I'm trying to, because I'm putting weight on, I'm weak. I haven't really trained since September, October last year. And it's now getting to the point now where everything's getting hard because it's heavy, and that's another thing as you get older, you don't use it, you lose it pretty quick. And I'm putting weight back on again because I'm not exercising. It's very hard to exercise when limbs don't want to work. So I thought, what the heck, I'd have a go. I saw, I can't remember what YouTube channel, and they were talking about this 30-day challenge. So I looked it up, found the lady. It's Yoga with Adriene, and it's a girl's name, A-D-R. I'll put it anyway. Yeah. It's Yoga with Adriene. It's a lady. Put the link below, and this one's the new one which started in January this year, and it's a 31-day yoga challenge. So what I'm trying to do in between times is to try and get some flexibility and a little bit of strength back, but to be honest, I'm on day 4, and every time I do it I am completely knackered afterward, and I'm not talking like it feels like I've done a 20k marathon. That's how quickly my body fatigues.
But you have had some
You know?
antibiotics.
And then I had antibiotics for this.
Yeah. As soon as you start going back to doctors, they start giving you antibiotics, and then it's a downward cycle. And
It feels right to me that that's what the problem is, because when you think about it, all those things is what I have. So I'm trying to do the yoga because I'm forcing myself to keep some sort of health. I mean, I do pay for it afterwards, I can tell you. Like today, I'm exceptionally tired. So
12 hours.
yeah, 12. Not just a normal day. The fatigue on me is just ridiculous. So it makes a lot of sense. So
and speaking of which, the day's coming to an end. Dave's been working a very long time, going out to the mine and back, and he's still got to do his next yoga session. So I think we need to end this mukbang here.
she's just reminded me now I've got to go and flog and get at myself again.
Yeah, so he has to go and do his yoga.
So that was her subtle way of telling me to shut up. So
Yes.
we'll finish the end of the video. I was yapping too much.
Okay, so we'll end it there till the next one. So I hope you've enjoyed our video. Please give us a thumbs up and ring that bell. Please talk to us to your friends so we can get some more viewers. That would be really nice. And please look at our links below where you can get all sorts of great things, and where you can also see some good documentaries and that on what we're talking about.
And don't forget, if you're not subscribed, to subscribe. And as Anne said, don't forget to ding the little bell and tick the notification so you know when we're coming out. And like Anne said, please give us a thumbs up and please comment below, because we'd really like to converse with people.
Guys, okay.
Really love to.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, remember, you're never too old.
For change.
Bye.